Hi, welcome to the blue pepper tomato. My name is Jane, and today we're making a grilled watermelon Saláta. So what that means, we're going to be making a Greek Mediterranean type of salad. So first, I'm going to get started with the watermelon. We're going to be cutting the watermelon in triangles. So at first, pretend that this watermelon is together. You want to be working with a serrated bread knife. You want to start at one of the ends, cutting one of the ends, and then you want to turn it to the other side and cut the other end as well. And it should open very nicely, right like this. So you have two halves. And what you're going to be doing is cutting one at a time. Since we're going to be using just one half, I'm going to set this one aside right now. You want to keep the top you want to keep the top or the rind facing you. This will prevent any type of slipping. It creates friction. So now we're just going to cut this the long way again. So I cut in one side. I'm just going to do that. And then we are ready to cut the triangles. This is kind of a big one. So all you want to do is really cut them at an angle. What I'm going to be doing is just cutting off the rinds as much as I can. Now we want about 6 or 7 cuts. In all, we want about 6 or 7 cups, and that is when the pieces are going to be chopped up. Okay, so I'm just going to put some aside. First, I'm going to taste it too. You definitely want this to be a deep, rich bread. This is delicious. The thing that's really great about watermelon, it has the highest amount of lycopene found in any other fruit. What lycopene really does, it adds the rich pink color found in really any fruit. So that is a huge indicator. If you have a fruit that has that deep reddish pink color, such as tomatoes, it's going to have a lot of lycopene in it. Lycopene helps with bone health, helps with the prevention of prostate cancer. It's an anti-inflammatory agent. It also helps with the cardiovascular system as well. So it's very important. Also, watermelon is really good when it comes to losing weight. I mean, if you think about the name watermelon, there's a great deal of water in it. It also is very low in calories, like I stated, and very low in sodium. So let's set this one aside. So we have the watermelon right here. Cut it off some of the rinds. Let's cut off a little bit more. The rest I will come back to. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to keep these to the side right now. Over here, I have made a vinaigrette that is going to be going actually on these watermelon slices. And what we're going to be doing is simply grilling this. You can use an outdoor grill, you can use an indoor grill. I'm going to be using a panini maker just because it's more convenient right now. So in here I have 1 tablespoon of Italian red wine, I have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of Tabasco sauce, 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. And then I have put just a tinge of sea salt, so a pinch, and then about a couple pinches of black pepper that has not been grinded yet. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is just gently putting it on each one. Just want to slather it on. Whoops. As you can hear, it's searing right away. Does not need to cook for a long period of time. Okay, so what I have here is the watermelon that has been really caramelized with all of those flavors found in the vinaigrette. And so what I am going to do, I'm going to set these aside and let them cool. So right now I also have more watermelon just right on the panini maker too. So I'm just going to be alternating as I chop up all the other ingredients. So right in here we have all these different ingredients. Some are Mediterranean based, others are just found simply in America and other countries as well. So I have an onion fresh from the garden, cucumber, I have 4 stalks of celery, and I also have 4 carrots that have had the fibrous or exterior part removed. I also have 4 Roma tomatoes and 1/4 cup of fresh parsley, and then I have 5 bulbous or rather large radishes. So what we're simply going to be doing, I'm just going to take all of this out. I am going to get out one of my knives. I'm going to start chopping away. Let me get my bowl. What's really great about radishes, let's start with these first. They are great detoxifiers. They really detoxify different elements that are found in the liver and the stomach. They also work to detoxify what is in the kidneys. So it's really great for urinary tract infections. It also has the ability, radishes have the ability to be kind of like healers or really good at soothing the digestive tract, given that they are diuretics. So there's a lot of juices that go through there that really have the capacity to soothe and clean anything that is kind of aggravated or inflamed in the digestive tract. So right here, we're just cutting them in slivers. There's, okay, some of them are bigger than others. Okay, so that's good for the radishes. I'm just gonna chop them up a little bit more too. I am using a chef's knife right now. I usually use that for just about anything unless I'm cutting bread. And that is when you want to use the obvious choice of bread knife. So let's just put these right in here. Let's try one. These are fresh from the garden. It's kind of like an overwhelming, pungent taste to them, which is great. Shows how fresh they are. Alright, so next, moving on, we are going to be working with the cucumber. All you want to do is cut off the edges first. Then you want to go down linear, keeping it straight. And then all you need to do is go now to the horizontal side. So you want them to be fairly thin, but not too thin that they come out transparent. And always be careful where your finger is. You obviously want to wash the outside of any vegetable before you use it, even if it's organic. But you want to have them dried as well, so your hand doesn't slip and you cut your finger. So obviously you want to avoid that as much as you can. Okay, so as we go along, I think it's always important to be adding some sort of oils. I mean, even despite, we're going to be combining all these ingredients, but I'm going to just use some of the vinaigrette that we used with the watermelon and just put it in. Just so you know, we put in 1/4 cup of olive oil. So that is one of our prime ingredients. What's great about olive oil is that it's monosaturated. What's great about olive oil is that it's monounsaturated. So what that means is that it replaces trans fat, saturated fat, and unsaturated fat. So anytime that you can use something that is monounsaturated in your food choices, that is much more beneficial to your body. So again, what we're going to be doing with the Roma tomato, just cut it linear. Be very careful. It is very slippy. It is very slippery. And we just want gentle chunks. Got that in. All right, so let's quickly do the carrots. So linear again. So carrots are going to be one of the hardest vegetables that you're going to be eating. In other words, I mean hard that when you bite into it, it's going to have a tough veneer to it. So we want to make sure that they're small enough. Also carrots, they have a very distinct taste, and we don't want them to overpower the other ingredients, especially the watermelon, which is really the centerpiece of this food group. Okay, so we're going to be putting parsley in here too. If you don't have parsley or you're not a fan of parsley, feel free to use other herbs, but kind of focus on herbs that are Mediterranean. So use basil, and yeah, basil is a great one that can be used. We want this to be fine, finely chopped. And right here, as I said possibly before, this is 1/4 of a cup. And we're just going to put that in. Okay, so celery. Again, there is a pattern of how I'm cutting. You just want to go straight down the middle, keeping a great deal of force at the end of the vegetable. And then you just cut it horizontally in little slices. Okay, and we're using 4 stalks of this. Okay, and here we go, we have the onion. The best way I always feel like cutting an onion is doing the same method that I do with the other vegetables, but at the same time, doing it as safely as you can. You might feel rushed because it can be very corrosive to the eye, just the scent that comes from it. Really affects the way your nose is working or your inhalation, but it also really affects your eyes too. And so a lot of times people go too fast, and then you really have the chance of cutting yourself. Okay. Let's flip it around. Okay, so right here I just have a portion of the watermelon, and let me just see. Really has those flavors that really are dominating, but in a really juicy type of way at the same time. Since they're on a very juicy, water-like, aqueous product. What I'm going to be doing, I learned this in a cooking class once. I'm going to be simply rolling a little bit of cayenne pepper right on to my table right here, and then I'm just going to be simply putting a little bit on. What's also is so good on watermelon, especially watermelon that's been grilled, is pepper flakes. That's really great too. And then what also is really good too is mint. Fresh mint really complements the taste of watermelon. Okay. So we're just going to be cutting these in cube-like pieces. It's okay if they're on angles. And we want to take away some of the rind parts, or the white parts, the parts that are the closest to the rind. And it is important to make sure this is chilled. Now I'm just going to set this aside. Okay, something else, a couple more ingredients I'm going to be adding is 1 cup of fresh blueberries. My dad actually put up blueberry bushes about 10 years ago, and finally they're procuring some blueberries. I also have half a cup of feta cheese in here as well. So again, trying to stay with the Mediterranean feel with feta cheese. We're also going to be adding a few olives. And we're going to be adding some walnuts as well. We're going to be adding around 1/4 cup of walnuts. Just going to estimate. If you can buy toasted walnuts, it's going to have more of a nuttier taste actually. Or you can just have walnuts like this. You can toast them yourself as well. And then all you want to do is make these fine buds. So a little bit more fine than coarsely chopped. Perfect. Okay, so far doesn't this look great? Looks delicious. Everything in here too is healthy. All right. Okay, what I'm going to be adding is Spanish olives. Spanish olives definitely have a different taste. Ooh, there we go. Let's try one right now. Then Greek olives. First of all, Greek olives have pits in them, so we're going to try to avoid that right now. There's also a pimento in the middle. It has a really sour and a bitter taste to it. And with all these sweet ingredients, you can see right here, that's exactly what we need. So I'm going to be cutting these up. I'm going to be really only putting 6 in. I think that will add enough. They're going to be in smaller pieces though. You want to be really careful because they're always going to be slippery. So let's put these right in here. Alright. One of my last ingredients is that I'm going to be putting some balsamic vinegar in here. Again, that is going to really deepen the taste. It's going to add complexity. A multitude of flavors are going to resonate just from this addition. And what we're really doing is just a drizzle. And it's just going to seep into the different fruits and the different vegetables. It's really good. And so in here, I'm just going to try a little bit more. This is the vinaigrette. You should always try this before you put it in your food. I made that mistake at the beginning that I didn't show that to you. But this is something I'm exemplifying right now. Because you never want to put this all over your food and then it has kind of an acrid taste, or it doesn't have like a sweet flavor that you intended it to have, or maybe you wanted it to have more of a bitter flavor and it was too sweet. It is completely up to you. One of the last ingredients I'm going to be adding, this is just for pretty much the topping, is a tablespoon of honey. So this is fresh honey. My neighbor next door, he actually has a beehive, and so it's a nice gift that he comes by and gives this to my family. So I'm just going to mix that together. Alright. Sweetness. I'm going to add just a little bit more Tabasco sauce. Okay, so one of the reasons I love Tabasco sauce is that it has such an intense and robust flavor to it. I mean, it really awakens your senses, doesn't dull them, which is very nice. So I'm just going to be adding a couple drops to this to add some more flavor. It also has capsaicin in it, and that is something that is very interesting because what it does, it aids in digestion. It also can be used as a topical element where it can relieve some of the symptoms of psoriasis, which is found on your skin. It's kind of like a rash-like appearance. That's what it has. Tabasco sauce also helps with irritable bowel syndrome and gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's very interesting that it helps with all these elements when people, in a lot of ways, they think, oh, it burns my tongue. Otherwise, it really doesn't have any positive properties, which is not true. Alright, so let's just pour the rest of this on the salad. And then this is the best part. All we do is just mix all of these beautiful colors, all of these flavors together. And today is 4th of July, so I thought this was a perfect treat. And I am trying to go on the Mediterranean diet, so I think this is a great start. All right. And of course, let's have a taste. I'm going to get a watermelon in here, which isn't too hard. How about a blueberry? Great seasoning, great texture, healthiness as usual. All important elements that I always try to incorporate on the blue pepper tomato. So this is Jane, and this is grilled watermelon sea salad. Oh, see you next time.